afternoon, everybody. Welcome into my craft room for an extra Stamp and Chat live. We've just had the new catalogue launch and I couldn't possibly not come online and talk about it with you. So that's what I'm going to do this afternoon. I'm going to go through the catalogue, explain some of the changes there have been to it, show you some of my favourite things and do some crafting as well. Plus I've got some extra samples to show you. So I hope we're going to have fun. I may run slightly over the hour, I'm not quite sure. I haven't actually rehearsed this to time, so we will see. But first of all, let me just make sure that I'm live where I think I am. Let's just check this. Got my devices lined up here. Turn the volume down on that. What am I looking for? Me. Handmade at home. There we go, let's have a look. I'm there, hooray. Let me just see if I can hear myself. A little bit of volume. Hopefully there is some. No volume, that's not good, is it? Okay. Oh, no, there is, there is. Hooray, there is. It must have just been a quiet part. Okay, that's all right then. I was worried I was going to have to stop and start again. Right, I'm going to put that out of the way, but where I will be able to see it in case there are any questions I need to answer or comments. Okay, there we go. Let's put that there. Brilliant. All right, so first, before I get started, I've got just a few reminders for you. If you would like to come to my June Fancy Fold cards class, that's running here just outside Lymington on Monday, June the 24th. I think that's Midsummer's Day, isn't it? Let's hope it's nice and sunny. Then I need your booking by the end of next week, please, the 24th of May. If you need extra information on that, just let me know you want that and then I can send it on to you. I've just realised I can't reach it. I'll reach it in a second. I've got an in colour sampler which I've just put together. If you like the new colours, then you can get a sampler from me with some of the new card, patterned paper, ribbons and two kinds of embellishments, some of them in every single colour. So you can play around with the combinations, see which ones you love and you want more of, play around with what's in your craft stash at home and see what works with the things you've already got, and there you go. The sampler is £18 if you can collect it from me, and I'm adding £2.50 just to cover the cost of postage and a board-backed envelope if you'd like me to post it to you. So in a moment when I put the camera down, I will grab it and just show you very quickly what you get. And a reminder that the next Facebook Live is at the end of the month on the 24th of May, Friday the 24th of May. And I'm going to be playing with the Layers of Beauty masks, stamps and dies. They're a bundle with the 3 items in, or of course you can get them separately as well. It went down an absolute storm at my catalogue launch party. I am loving playing with them and I'm sure there's a lot more I can do with them than I have done already. So if you are interested in that, that will be here, same time, same place, Friday the 24th of May. Okay, so that's all the reminders. Okay, so I'm going to turn the camera down. I'm going to grab the sweet sampler just to quickly show you. And then we will get going on the catalogue. I've made a lot of notes because there is so much I could say, but you probably don't have the whole of the afternoon and evening, so I thought, no, I must think about what I really need to say and just cover those things. Okay, so let's peel off the tape and see where we are. Just got to wait for my iPad to catch up and then I can see what you can see. Hello Mary, nice to have you with us. Okay, I've just moved that. Have I made that better or worse? I just need to alter the angle, don't I? Let's see if I can do that. So you want to see more of the table and less of me, ideally. There we go, that's a bit better. Just trying to get this as perfect as I can. to get this. I probably should make some markings on my desk about where to put my grid paper and where to put my camera stand, but there we go. Right, I'm going to pop the microphone down a minute and just grab the sweet sampler from the other side of the room. Okay, I'm also going to coil some of these wires out of the way because you don't need to be looking at those. There we go, hopefully that will do the trick. All right, so this is all the new 2024 to 2026 in colours. So what you get is a sheet, an A4 sheet of each of the colours of card. So we've got Pretty in Pink, Petunia Pop, Peach Pie, Shy Shamrock and Summer Splash. That's Shy Shamrock, that's Summer Splash. I think I said them the wrong way around. Then for each of those colours you have 2 pieces of patterned paper. So this is 6 inches square. One piece is flowers and leaves and then stripes on the back. And one piece is circles on one side and a sort of a geometric pattern on the other side. So you get those 2 sheets in each of the 5 colours. In my sample pack here I've actually got some part sheets because I've run out. So I'm waiting for another pack to arrive. I've used so much of this that I only had bits left in some of the colours. But you will get full sheets. Then you're going to get a 1/4 of a reel of ribbon in each of the colours. This is a really pretty stitched ribbon. I hope I'm holding this where you can actually see it. Again, I've just got to wait for the lag. There we go. It feels a little bit like linen. It isn't linen, it's a synthetic, but it ties and drapes really nicely. So a 1/4 of a reel is a little bit over 2 1/4 meters. So lots and lots of ribbon, whether you like to make cards or bags or do scrapbooking or whatever, plenty of ribbon there. And then there are 2 kinds of embellishments in the in colours. One are these resin dots. So these are matte. They probably look shiny because they're in an envelope, but they're actually matte, and you probably won't be able to see, but they're really not very deep, so they're not likely to put up the cost of sending your card if that's what you use them on. So you've got 6 of those in each colour, and there are 2 sizes for each colour. And then these are shimmer gems. These are faceted and frosted, so they're shimmery. They're a little bit deeper, but not much. And you get a 1/4 of a pack of those as well, which equates to 37 gems, which is a bit of an odd number. So you get at least 6 in each colour. Because I'm dividing up the pack between 4 people, you'll get a couple of extras of something, but 37 altogether. So there we are then. So that is the sweet sampler. As I say, £18 if you can collect it from me, or £20.50 if you would like me to post it to you. So that's within the UK only. And I've basically costed out all the individual elements, added them up, and then rounded it up to the nearest pound. So you're paying effectively what you would pay if you were buying it from the catalogue, but you can't buy those small quantities in the catalogue. So I'm hoping that will be helpful for you. All right. So, new catalogue. I've got mine here. I thumb mine so much I've actually got a plastic cover on it. Hopefully you've got your catalogues in front of you. That will make life a lot easier. If you haven't, nip off and get it now. If you don't have a catalogue at all and you don't have a demonstrator you work with, then let me know and I will happily send you a catalogue through the post. All my current regular customers have had them, so I know that if you're watching you will be able to grab yours and have a look along with me. So this catalogue has a very different look to previous catalogues. If you've had those before, this one is very, very different. By and large, people are really liking it, although they're finding that they've got to flick through a little bit more just to get a feel for what is where, and I'm hoping to give you some signposts today to make that easier. It's almost like a magazine inside, I think. You've got bits of information, you've got samples, And then you've got some of the products that you can buy, whereas the previous one was, by and large, was just lists of products. So I think this is much more interesting to read. But until you know where things are, or at least you have the signposts to find them, you may be finding that you can't find things where you're used to finding them. I think it's really lovely, actually. It's got a much better index at the back. There's lots of information on design and techniques, both stamping techniques and crafting techniques generally. And I'm going to highlight the key pages. I'm going to make some cards, as I said, told you, show you some more. I'm not actually going to walk you through every page, although to start with, I'll be talking about quite a lot of pages, but I'm not literally going to talk you through every single page, so please don't worry about that. You can do that yourself. All right, so the first thing to point out is that the catalogue is organised a little bit differently to what you might be used to. On page 2, you've got the contents, so this will give you kind of a quick scan, and then page 140, that's your index, which is where you'll find much more detail on where to find things. But the 3 main sections they've organised the catalogue to this time is step-by-step crafting, quick and easy options, and creativity your way. So that's kind of code to open the box and start crafting. Things that go together quickly and easily and don't cost an awful lot, but will give you a little bit more option for designing things yourself. So that's quick and easy. Creativity your way, this is all the things. So if you've got lots of time, if you are a really keen crafter, then this is going to be the main section you're going for. And this is where you'll find the sweet collections, the bundles, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of the way they've sectioned it out. You'll find that lots of the pages have got QR codes. So I found that quite a number of my customers were not familiar with QR codes. So let me find one and I'll show you. I'll talk about that one in a minute. Let me find another one here, because there really are, she says, lots of them in here. There we go. Here's a QR code. I'm sure you are used to seeing these. They go in magazines, they're on packaging, you get them on junk mail through the door, all kinds of things, QR codes. So if you're not familiar with them, they are some kind of techie thing. I don't really even know what I'd call it other than a code, which when you take your smartphone, open up the camera and hold the camera over this, not take a photo, just hold it over there. Your camera identifies that this is a QR code and somehow manages to interpret what it means, and depending on what kind of phone you've got, you will get a message asking you if you want to open up the page on the internet, which gives you the information that's coded here. I think that's hopefully an understandable explanation for what a QR code is. And throughout the catalogue you will see them. So if I was to scan that with my phone, I can't show you because I'm filming on my phone, but that would take me to information about Thoughtful Journey. Now, if you've had your catalogue from me, I have put in a couple of personalised QR codes. The first one is on page 8 here for the kits collection. I'm going to talk about these in a minute because this is the step-by-step crafting section. If you scan this with your phone, this will take you straight to the section with absolutely all the kits that are available on my website. So it's a quick way to get there. The kits come and go. Some of them have been with us for several years now. Some of them come and they sell quickly and they get restocked. Some of them sell and once they're sold, they're gone. But this will take you to an up-to-date listing. And the other QR code I've got is on the very back, and that will take you to the page on my website, which has got all the online exclusives. You'll remember that I think it's three or four times a year Stampin' Up introduce online exclusives, which are products that don't show up in a catalogue, but are there to be seen online. You can order them online, or I can order them for you in the usual way. They've also put in this section a lot of the things that have carried over but which are not shown in the catalogue. So it's a really big section and that will take you directly to it, so you're not faffing around online trying to find out whether something that you wanted but haven't got has carried over. So I hope that will be helpful. So that's a quick note on QR codes. But anyway, the kits. The kits, basically everything comes in the box. You open the box and you get crafting. It's super quick and easy. They're great for beginners. but also they're lovely for gifts. There are all kinds of things which are suitable for gifts. There's home decor, there's even a game now for kids, there's lots and lots of cards, so they make really nice presents. I always take a couple of kits with me when I go on holiday because everything's in the box. So all I've got to do is pack the box. I haven't got to go through my craft stash and pull bits and pieces out from all over the place. And then of course when I get home, put them away again, which is not one of my favourite activities. So they're great for that. And if you like to craft with your children or with your grandchildren, again, everything's in the box. You haven't got to fiddle around trying to find things. It will all pack away into the box when you've finished. They are absolutely perfect. So quick and easy, step-by-step crafting just by the box. So scan the QR code for the kits, and then there's a few pages here which talk about that. Then we've got the quick and easy options. So these are things that combine really easily to make quick projects with the actual design done by you. Now they've included in this section top 10 crafting essentials. So if you're not going to buy a kit, if you want to buy bits separately, these are the things that they say are really, really important. And I'm very pleased that they've included your demonstrator. That would be me down the bottom with the description that I'm like Google, only better. So absolutely, if you've got any questions, come to me about it. I'm always happy to help. All right, so here we are. This is the quick and easy main body of the section. And they tell you here a great way to start. So start with cards and envelopes, add an ephemera pack, I'm going to show you those in a minute, they're new, and add a stamped sentiment. And then across here we've got lots and lots of ideas. Turn the page and you've got a lot of samples, and these are shown really quite big, so it's very easy to see what's been used. And you may or may not know, but I have a list of every single sample in this catalogue and a list of the products that has been used to make it. So if you see something in here you want to recreate, just ask me and I can tell you exactly what they used. Okay, so I'm going to just show you those ephemera kits, and I'm also going to show you this stamp set here, which I think is absolutely brilliant. It's called Simply Said. So the ephemera kits are pieces of die-cut paper. I've put mine in the plastic stamp cases, which are still in the catalogue, just because these come in a sealed cello bag and it's easier to rummage through them if they're in here. So here's one, for instance, that I've popped out. They're all die-cut. Most of them are coloured, but there are some that are black and white. So if you want to do monochromatic projects, you can, or you can colour them yourself. So this pack is called Fully Flowering, and it's all flowers. So you get 4 different sheets of designs, and you get 2 of each of those, so 8 sheets in total. So you can see that I've pulled out some of these already. And you can just pop them out. I can't decide whether to leave them on the sheets or whether to pop them all out and put them in the box. Let me know if you think one would be better than the other. At the moment I'm leaving them whole in the sheets, but I usually pop out a few elements and then arrange them on my cards. And I've got some card samples to show you in just a minute. So this is the Fully Flowering set. Really lovely illustrations. You'll notice some of these coordinate with stamps and papers in the catalogue as well, so the coordination is brilliant. This set is called Saying Something, so this is all sentiments. Again, 4 different sheets, and you get 2 sheets of each. So this one has got all sorts on it. Happy birthday, thanks, world needs more people like you, all my love and thanks to you. That's just a few of them. That's another one the same. Then we've got this one, which is again on kind of strips. Make a wish, here's to you, happy day, love you forever, it's your birthday, consider yourself hugged. And then the other designs are cutouts. Let me pop one of these out. So this one says for you. There we go. So the sentiment is literally a cutout. And then the final sheet of designs. It's also cutouts as well. There we go, that one's wishes. There's also a birthday, so you can say birthday wishes. Okay, so that one then is saying something. So these packs are £7.50 each. There are a lot of pieces in each one, as you can see. This one is labels and layers. So just as you'd expect, squares, rectangles, circles, ovals. And again, 8 sheets, and there are 4 different sets of designs in the sheets. All different colours, some neutrals, some brights, some pastels. So you could stamp on these, or you could add one of your sentiments to the label. And then finally, something for everything. Oops, dropping balloons. This is just a completely random mix of images. So let me try and find one that's whole. There we go. So we've got balloons, rainbows, birds, butterflies, cake, feathers, a dog, berries, hearts. Then we have, that was a balloon in there. Fish, birds, boats, banners, tassels, books. This little boat and frame come out separately, so you can use them together or apart. Birthday candle. This one, we've got a cactus, more butterflies, a cowboy, lemons, coffee cups, scenery. And then here we've got a cat, a camera, a rosette, a wreath, a clover leaf, a pot plant, a lighthouse, suitcases, a typewriter, a cupcake. So all kinds of things that you can put together to work with whatever the reason you are sending a card is. I don't think that was very grammatical, but you know what I mean. Okay, so I haven't actually started with cards and envelopes, have I? I've started with add an ephemera pack. So those are the 4 packs. The cards and envelopes here, I've got a few to show you. The rest I will show you in a second because I've made some of them up into cards. So there are 2 packs. This one is Calming Creek. So these are more neutrals. So that's the card base. It's patterned on both sides. And obviously you can have it as a portrait card or a landscape one. And then the envelopes are patterned on the inside. I'm hoping you can see that one's quite pale. I'll show you another one in a sec. And on the outside, there we go, that's better to show you. So this has got a pale version of the pattern on the outside, and then the one on the inside is kind of the reverse of the card. So these are lovely, and the scale of the ephemera is perfect for cards. You could of course use it for scrapbooking and other things as well, but they're great for cards. This pack is called Sunny Springs. Again, I've used one of these, but I'll just pop them down to show you. So you've got your background already created on these cards, and the envelopes really are beautiful. So buy a pack of envelopes, get some ephemera. I'd suggest an image ephemera pack and a sentiment ephemera pack, and then if you can run to it, the labels as well are great, because then you've got things to mount things on. And a stamped sentiment, so you can stamp or you can just use the printed greetings. This is the Simply Said set, which I was just pointing out in the catalogue. This is a brilliant set for your first stamp set, or just to add to your sentiments, because it's got all those key things. It's got birthday, thinking of you, thank you, miss you, just a note, hello. It's great, a really, really good set. So I'm going to make a really super quick card just to show you how these work. And then I'll show you a few more. Alright, so I've got one of my cards here. This is from the Calming Creek pack, and this is a blue, I don't know, check or a loose linen weave. It looks a bit like it's been drawn by hand. And then the envelope has a pale version on the outside, and then sort of the inverse pattern, so it's got dark stripes on a light background, whereas this is light stripes on a dark background. So I pulled out some ephemera that I thought would work on here. So I've got one of the labels, I've got a sentiment, I've got 2 boats and an anchor. And I'm thinking that I'm going to put them together, something like this. I'm probably going to snip that up. And put that somewhere like that. Yeah, I'm going to snip. So I'm going to snip up this happy birthday. So I've got the words separated. So I'm just going to kind of follow the curve. And snip that apart. So that's my happy. And then the birthday obviously is a little bit messy, so I'm just going to neaten that up. About that anchor. I may not even put that on there. I'm going to put one inside. Yeah, I think that works better for me. All right, so let's just glue these pieces down. Now, believe it or not, I sometimes forget people's birthdays. Mostly I remember their birthday the day before, and sometimes I have a card. I've got lots of ready-made cards. However, sometimes there isn't one that's quite right. Or sometimes something happens and I want to make a card. I don't have one in my stash that will do. And so although I have a fantastic amount of stuff that I can use for crafting, sometimes I don't have time to get it all out. I've just got to quickly make a card and get it in the post. And in that case, these are absolutely perfect. So I'm going to pop up this sentiment on some dimensionals. I've already got glue all over my fingers. You can see that I just literally glued down the label, I glued down the boats, and I'm now going to add my happy birthday. There are lots of things in these ephemera which will be brilliant for children's cards. I don't yet have any of the children's stamp sets, but lots of the images are drawn in a kind of a quirky style, so they will work really well for children's cards. I have got mini dimensionals, but I have no idea where they've gone, so I've just cut one of those in half. There we are. So that's my card front, which took me how long? 2 minutes? And when I've got time, I really love to create elements, colour them in, cut them out, glue them on, layer them up, create my own backgrounds, but sometimes there just isn't time for that. And that's when something like this really comes into its own. So I'm going to pop that little anchor just inside there. I've got a spare one here, which I'm going to put back in the box. So these pieces are all from the Something for Everything ephemera pack. And I do want something in there. Let's have a look. Where are those words? I think what I will do is find the other happy birthday that matches the one on the front. There it is. And just glue it in as it is, and then the whole thing's going to match. So that's the Saying Something set. So one very quick birthday card. And here are some I prepared earlier. So this is a monochromatic one. On this I've used one of the black and white roses. And this was actually white, this thanks. I just went over it with my Stampin' Blends in black and coloured that in so that it toned nicely. This one I really like. So I've used several of the florals, what are they called? Fully flowering. So this big spray on top, then another flower there and some leaves underneath. 2 pieces from the Labels and Layers. And then I've stamped that thank you using Simply Said, this sentiment here. This one is yellows and browns. So again, this is one of the Labels and Layers. These are from the fully, I can't remember what that's called, I keep looking it up, Fully Flowering. And then a paper hug sentiment from the Saying Something set. And then finally I've made a smaller one. You are the icing on the cake. So these 2 pieces are from the Labels and Layers, as is that one. No, it's not. That one is from, I think, something for everything. Yeah, I think that's from Something for Everything. I'm trying to find it in here. No, it's from Saying Something. There we go. The one with all the words. There is this circle greeting in there. And these 2 are from Something for Everything. There we go. I got there in the end. So really quick and simple cards, but you can have some of the fun of designing them, because although the elements are quick to use with the printed cards and the ephemera packs, you decide how you're going to put it all together. All right, so back to the catalogue. All right, so also in this section is a bit on card design. Now I'm really excited to see this because I get asked this so often by my customers. Where do I start? I buy the things I love, I get them home, I get them out, I look at them and I don't know where to start. So here they've got a very simple 1, 2, 3. Ink a stamp and stamp a sentiment. Layer on some pretty paper onto a card base. So that's absolutely a really quick way of doing it. But what they've also done down here at the bottom is they've put, let me move that up a little bit, there we are. They've put some card templates or sketches in. I call them sketches, but they are a template I'm lost the word here that I was thinking of. Never mind, it'll come to me. But they are plans, that's it. There we go, that's what I was looking for, they're plans. Now I've enlarged that so it's a little bit easier for me to show you. So these show you a rectangular card base and just shapes on top, so that you can follow this plan with whatever you've got and make a pretty card. So this one here, you've got your card base. They've added a rectangle. That could be card, that could be patterned paper, it could be card that you've put through an embossing folder, it could be card you've stamped. And then they've got 2 smaller rectangles here. The back one could be contrast card or paper or embossed card. The one on top could also be that, or you could stamp a sentiment on it. And then of course you can add to this, you can add a bow, you can add rhinestones, but that would give you a starting point. What I'm going to do, I haven't yet, but I'm actually going to make up each of these templates just using scrap card and write the measurements on. They haven't put measurements on here because these templates can be used all over the world and people's sheets of card come in different sizes in different parts of the world. So a half of an A4 sheet, which we tend to use here for a small card, is not the same size as half of a sheet of card used in the United States, for example. but it's not difficult to work out what measurements to do. So I'm going to work that out, see what I think works well, make up the templates with the measurements. So watch this space for that. But this is included here, so I really like that. And then over here, they've actually made some cards, one in each of the colour families. And you will see as you go through the catalogue that next to some of the samples there is a little icon here which shows you that they've used one of those sketches or templates to make the card, so you can translate the drawing or the plan into an actual project. So I think that's really helpful too. The two stamp sets they highlight here are really good ones to make simple and quick cards with, although of course you can use them on more complicated projects as well. They would also be great to use with these here. So that's one suggestion. Here's a couple more. I'm just going to drink some water. It's very warm today, which is lovely, but my throat is drying up. Okay, so more samples there. I'm not going to go through every page, I promise. It's just that there's quite a lot of things I wanted to show you at the beginning of the catalogue. All right, the next thing I have to show you, memories and more. So they've called it Memories Plus here because you can use it for memory keeping and for scrapbooking, but also for making cards. So there are two sets of printed cards here. The cards come in two sizes, 6 inches by 4 inches and 3 inches by 4 inches. And there's a picture here of the pocket page scrapbook that we supply, and the cards will just slide into the pockets in the pages, so you can add to them as much or as little as you like and then do memory keeping. So I'm not going to talk an awful lot about that now. You can open up your catalogue on page 26 and see if you would like. There's also a QR code here you can scan. However, these also make brilliantly quick cards. Now you can buy packs of white cards. The cards and envelopes come in the pack. There are two sizes of the cards to fit these printed Memories and More cards, and then all you do is glue one to the other, and that's the next thing that I'm going to show you. I will show you just a few of the Memories and More cards themselves. I'm not going to show every single one. You get 28 in a pack. So some of them are quite plain like this, where you could write a sentiment and you could do some journaling here. They're all double-sided. Some of them are much more, I'm just trying to find a particularly good example of what I'm talking about. Some of them have much more detail on them. Like that one, for example. Which can form a focal point on your card. And then the bigger ones, again, you have two of everything. So if you like one side, hooray, let's celebrate. So that would be perfect on the card front. But you can use the other side as well. Make time to play. So I could stick that on and my card would be done. Or I could do other things with it. I could add embellishments. I could add some ribbon. I could take my Wink of Stella and paint over this large hooray and make it go shimmery. I could add some little rhinestones to some of these little detailed flowers here. I could die cut some extra flowers and lay them around here to make it a little bit more 3D. So it goes on and on and on what you can do to these. You can use them as they are for quick cards, or you can do a lot more with them. And of course they're great for memory keeping as well. So these are the Unbounded Beauty cards, and there is an Unbounded Beauty suite in the catalogue which these coordinate with. So you can add the designer series paper, you can add the gems and so on to these if you wish. And then this one is Thoughtful Journey. Again, small cards and large cards which coordinate with the Thoughtful Journey suite. So there we go, happy birthday. Stick that on a card base, job done, or you can add to it. So again, all double-sided, beautiful cards. Really like that one. And I'm going to show you what I've done with some of these to make some quick cards. I've just heard the dog bark. The doorbell hasn't gone, but I should warn you that I'm due a delivery. I'm hoping it's not going to come while I'm talking to you, but if it does, bear with me because I will just have to run and get the door. Okay, so let me hold this up and show you what I did. So this is this blue and purple card. This is one of the printed cards. The leaves were printed on there. The label is printed on there. I stamped thanks on there, and I've added 2 gems. So that's given me a super quick little thank you card, but one that I've been able to add my own little touch to. This is another little one. A really, really pretty printed card. So the card has the border on it, it has all the flowers and the frame. It has this little banner printed, but I've stamped thank you and I've added some resin dots to it. But again, it took me about 2 minutes to make that card. So, you know, sometimes you can put something together very, very quickly if you need to. This is a bigger one. This is one of the 6x4 cards. This says thinking of you today. So the frame is on there, the words were on there, but I have die cut this little piece in white card and just added it to it, just to add a little touch myself. And then finally this one, and I can see I've pinged off one of my resin dots. I wonder where that's gone. I have to add one to it later. So this is a beautiful printed card. So I added the dots and I stamped thank you just on a scrap of card, edged it with the same ink and then popped that on with some dimensionals. This could be my favourite card actually. I really like this one. It will look better when it has an extra dot there. So there we are. That's some very quick cards with memories and more. So again, a lot of the work is done for you, but you can add your own touch to them. Okay, so now I'm going to get into the meatiest section in here, which they're calling Creativity Your Way. So this is where you will find the bulk of the stamps, the papers, you'll find the sweets in here, you'll find the bundles, and so on and so forth. So we've got bigger and better pictures than we've had before. The pictures with the dies are bigger. The pictures of the designer series paper are clearer as well. And then opposite we've got a lot of samples and of course a QR code so you can find out more. So all the sweets are here. And I'm talking about a suite, but maybe that's a term you're not familiar with. So a suite is a group of products which are designed to work perfectly together. So you'll find the stamped images are recreated in the patterned paper. You will have a punch or dies which coordinate with the stamps. Very often the dies will also cut out elements of the patterned paper. Then there'll be accessories, like here we've got some metallic dots, and there may be other things like ribbon or an embossing folder and so forth. So all the sweets are here. They've all got lots and lots of samples with them. And then on page 57 we've got past the sweets and now we're in the bundles. So these bundles are normally, typically there'll be 2 products. There'll be stamps and dies or stamps and a punch. However, this Layers of Beauty one, this is the one I'm doing in my next Facebook Live. This does have stamps, dies and also masks, which I call stencils. I think they're stencils rather than masks, but anyhow, let's not nitpick. When you buy a bundle you get 10%. You pay 10% less than you would if you were buying the elements separately. So look for the bundle code rather than writing down all the individual ones. For the first time with these 2 bundles labelled with love and keeping tabs, you can choose a bundle that has stamps and dies or stamps and a punch. And the cost of the bundle varies depending on which one you're getting. So that is quite interesting, quite an exciting innovation. I guess they're looking to see which is going to be the most popular there. Okay, let me just turn over. And before I move on to the carryover products, I'm just going to show you a couple of the sweets. So I talked about the Thoughtful Journey Memories and More cards just this minute. but I'm going to show you the Thoughtful Journey suite, which is, let me just find it, back here on page 46. So you've got stamps and dies. Some of the dies cut out the stamped images, but you've also got some independent dies. You've got some pearls, you've got some fancy specialty paper, and then this beautiful designer series paper. And of course, over here, you've got some samples to inspire you. So let me just show you the stamps and dies in the flesh, because I think they always look different when you actually see them. The dies maybe not so much. The papers definitely look very different. Just lost one here, let me pop that back. I always put mine on magnetic sheet. It's so much easier to keep everything together. So you've got lots of botanicals, lots of words, and a spatter. Love a spatter stamp. This is the specialty paper. So these are 6 by 12 pieces which I've cut. However, they come as a 12 by 12 sheet. I'm hoping you can see some of them, it's more obvious than others. They are actually ombre, kind of working on the diagonal. So this is blue and purple, and it's got a silvery pearl pattern on it. They are really beautiful. So the pattern is the same on all of them, but the colours change. So this is pinks and peaches. This is orange and terracotta. And we've got blue greens and greens. So gorgeous. Those are the specialty papers. But these are really the star of the show. These are double-sided. They are watercolour effect papers. And some have scenes on them. And some are just watercolour washes. So you can use these as they are, or you can stamp on them, or you can add die cuts to them. There are 12 different designs in the pack, and you get 4 of each, so 48 6-inch square sheets in a pack, and they are just stunning. I really love these. I've lost count of how many packs of these my customers have bought already, and the catalogue's only been live for just over a week. So beautiful, beautiful papers. And let me give you some ideas for using them. Did this card at my card class earlier this month. So on this one we've stamped on top of the paper and then coloured the floral images. This one I've mixed a die cut on the top of the paper, and I'm hoping you can see the leaf images here have got like a white outline on top of them, so I mimicked that on this die cut. I just went over the die cut in quite a sketchy way with a white gel pen just to mimic the paper. This one uses that beautiful specialty paper as well. And then I've got a couple of fancy folds to show you. So this one opens right out. I've used a couple of sheets of paper and continued the design right the way across. And again stamped on the paper and coloured it. And then there's die cuts on the front too. So that one sits like that. And this is a very fancy fold. Looks like that. I was given one of these by my friend Rosie. I've got my ruler out and worked out how she'd done it because it's really lovely. I love the way it looks like a conventional card and then you open it and it's suddenly wow in the middle. So just some very quickly shown ideas for this absolutely gorgeous, sweet, thoughtful journey. Find it on page 47. Hi Belinda, I've just seen your comments. I've been a bit neglectful of the comments. Oh, I'm glad you've seen the memories and more cards now and not having been able to do that. So good. They are really, really beautiful. And bye Mary, I'm looking forward to seeing you on Monday too at class. All right, so here we go. So this is the section page 74. They're calling it Encore. These are products which have carried over. So they've put quite a lot of them in here, along with, as usual, lots of samples. However, not everything is in here. So if you scan the code I've put on the back of your catalogue, that will take you to the section on my online shop where absolutely everything that's carried over is. So I'm hoping that will make life easier to you, easier for you. So I'm not going to go through all those. You're perfectly capable of looking at those yourself. But then I thought I would just highlight the techniques pages. So they've started off with stamping techniques. So this is page 82. So we've got a few pages here. So we've got using the reversible stamps. They've got some tips on using image only sets. We've got two-step stamping. And we've got using colour with images in different ways here, particularly highlighting the versatility of stamp sets. Then we've got a feature on background stamps. And then move on, we've got things for your craft room. So craft room storage. I've got some of this. I haven't got everything, but I love the Stampin' Blends holders. I've got those, and I've also got some of the ink pad holders, so those are great. Then we've got a section on why you might want to craft. So there's a section on thank you cards, for instance. There's a section on times of the year. There's a section on crafting for children, on making invitations, crafting for your home. So ideas there for particular occasions for crafting. Page 110, they've highlighted metallics here, and it's really interesting. Here we've got this beautiful oxidized copper paper that was in the last catalogue, but my customers never saw it because of the way it was, and having seen it here, I had a whole set of people say, oh, I must have some of that paper. So it just goes to show that changing the way you show things means that people see things that they haven't been able to notice before. And then moving on from here, some things that you're more used to seeing. So we've got a page with the ribbons, we've got pages of embellishments. Again, not everything is here. Do check that QR code on the back for things which are either online exclusive, so they've never been in a catalogue, or things which have carried over from the catalogue but they haven't actually put in here. On page 116, we've got a guide to adhesives, which I think is really, really helpful. I'm always happy to talk to you about glue, but what they've got here is they've got a series of little icons which they've put next to the glues, so you can see which glue is best for which thing. So my favourite is multi-purpose liquid glue, because that is brilliant for everything except ribbon. And I love mini glue dots, which are perfect for ribbon. And I'd never be without my dimensionals. So those are probably my three favourites. And then over the page from the glues, we've then got crafting techniques. So we've got how-tos here, we've got lots of samples, and then we've got the items that you might need to do that. So we've got watercolour techniques. We've got moving and fancy fold cards. We've got shaker cards, 2 different ways to make those. We've got masking, why you might want to do it and how you can do it. Then we've got adding texture with heat embossing and with texture paste. And of course embossing folders. And it goes on and on. We've got blending colours. And then I love this page. This is page 132. colour theory. In other words, how to pick colours that look nice together. They've popped a colour wheel in here, and if you're used to seeing a colour wheel, you'll be familiar with the terms in here. So we've got red, red, orange, orange, yellow, orange, yellow, yellow, green, 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 blue, 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 violet, violet, red, violet, back to red. So you'll be familiar with that. But what they've then done is slotted in all our Stampin' Up colours where they fit. So you can instantly see which are the red, violet colours. You can see which are the yellow, orange colours. And then across here, there are ways to use the colour wheel. So for instance, a monochromatic colour scheme is always very calm and soothing and easy. You just pick one section here. So let's say we pick blue, and then we've got balmy blue, azure afternoon, misty moonlight, and boho blue. So we could pick all those colours, or two of those colours, and put them together, and they will work together. And then they explain other colour schemes: complementary, analogous, triadic, which sound complicated, but they are not. A little diagram, there's a little bit of blurb to explain, and then there are some actual colour schemes underneath that you could copy. So if you get stuck on colour, then these 2 pages are super helpful, I think. Then over the page are the colour families. Stampin' Up is known for its colour families, its colour coordination. And here they explain to you a little bit more about what the Subtles family is like, and then you've got everything that you can get in that colour family here. And they go through all the colour families, and then the in colours here, which I was talking about earlier. On page 140 is that improved index I was telling you about. It's a little bit small, but I guess they didn't want to devote 6 pages to an index. So we've just got it on a double page spread. So if you have trouble reading small print, you may, I'm afraid, need your glasses or your magnifying glass, but the index is great. They've put everything into categories. So we've got adhesives, embellishments, dies, for instance. And then you've got the page for that, either one page for the adhesives or for the embellishments. They've then split that up. We've got adhesive backed embellishments, we've got enamel effects, and we've got loose embellishments. And then even within those sections, you've got everything listed. So it's really, really helpful, I think, this index. It's a vast improvement on the previous one. And then the last thing at the back of the catalogue I was going to show you before I make my final card of the day is the angel policy, which again I get asked about quite a lot. In other words, are you allowed to sell things you've made with Stampin' Up products? So their angel policy is listed here. It's a pretty generous one. Basically, as long as you buy a stamp set from Stampin' Up which has got one of their copyright Stampin' Up stamps in it, then you can stamp that on your project and you can sell your cards or what have you. And there is also a reference here to give you much more information if you need it. So I think it's great to have that in there. Okay, so I'm just going to drink some more water, and then I'm going to make another final card using the Take to the Sky suite. So the Take to the Sky suite is more of a masculine suite. And if I can find, I should have written down the page, shouldn't I? But I'll find it in just a second and show you. Here we go. Page 36. Again, QR code so you can find out more. So the suite has a stamp set and dies. It has some fantastic papers and some really nice metal embellishments. And over here, then you've got lots of information, bits and pieces that they've used, and actual finished projects as well. So I'll show you the suite, and then I will make something using it, and then I've got a couple of other samples to show you. So the stamps and dies then. So we've got 3 sizes of aeroplane here, which you can stamp and then you can cut out with the dies. Then they've got 3 sizes of clouds, for which there are also dies. And then we've got some words on here, including a happy birthday. And this rather nice kind of metal plate image. So these planes are all biplanes, which makes them a little bit more interesting, I think. And the dies, as well as cutting out the stamped images, you've got some which work independently. So these two cut out a plane that you can just together, so it's not a stamped plane, it's a paper plane. The propeller die has got 2 propellers on it, so one pass through your machine gives you 2 propellers. There's this nice kind of arrow banner, which if I show you in the catalogue, because I haven't got it on a sample yet, there we go. I'm hoping I've got something in front of my iPad, so I can't see myself, but I'm hoping that I can show you on here. I can get everything so you can see it. It's this card at the bottom. It's not very good, is it? I can't I can't move things enough to show you. No, that's not showing you. Anyway, what happens is this little one, which is like a T shape, you cut one of those T shapes, you cut your banner, and then the pointy bit of the banner fits into your T shape like that, and it becomes a stamped banner that your plane is towing behind it. Have you ever seen one of those planes towing a banner across the sky? Sometimes people hire them to propose to somebody, although I always think you must really worry that the person isn't actually going to see the aeroplane. Or they're used for advertising and things. So anyway, you've got some extra pieces in there for that. Some more I've got metal embellishments. Here we go. These are really fun. They're called industrial trinkets. So they're hexagonal. The right side has got some etching on it. They are quite dimensional, and they hold really well with a glue dot. And then the papers are stunning, I think. So they're 12 inches square, they're all double-sided, so you get 2 of each sheet in a pack, which gives you 12 sheets in all. So we've got red and blue planes with this lovely relief map on the back. We've got clouds and a grey check. We've got, these look a little bit like kind of the designer's drawings of planes on green. And then this is that same metallic plate design all kind of riveted together. And we've got a world map and that really nice blue check design. Then we've got those same drawings of planes, but this time they're in blue, with a coppery brown back, and then this is a cut apart sheet. So this piece is 6x4, these pieces are 3x4, and then at the bottom you've got some tags. So there's so many things you could use with this. The sizes are will coordinate with the Memories and More card pages or with the Memories and More card bases, so you can just cut these apart and pop them into your albums or pop them onto a card base. So at the bottom obviously you can cut these apart for tags, but one thing I want to try with this is actually making a concertina tag book. So I would just score in between these, cut them at the top, and then concertina fold that and then decorate it to make a little tag book. I think that will be fun. On the back of that is one of my favourite ones, which is a world map again with lots of little aeroplanes and kind of flight paths marked on it. Really fun. So I love the paper. So I'm going to make a quick card using some of that. I have prepared a couple of the elements just so I didn't have to get up and go and get my die cutting machine out and all the rest of it, because yes, we're after 3. I thought we would be running over a little bit longer than usual today. So I've cut some of that sheet I just showed you to fit my card base. I've stamped and die cut the plane, and I've started to colour it again just to save a little bit of time. But let me finish off the colouring. I've got my Stampin' Blends here in Smoky Slate. I've coloured the wings in light Smoky Slate, and I'm going to colour the body in the darker colour. Stampin' Blends are absolutely my favourite thing to colour stamped images with, because you don't get any streaking. They dry almost immediately, and I love the effect you can get when you blend them. So I'm not blending here, I'm just colouring, but they do blend beautifully. I'll lift this up and show you once I've finished it. I did think about doing a red plane, but in the end I went with grey, but I will do a red one I think as well. So now all I need to do is add that plane, and I've got the banner here. This one doesn't fit unfortunately very well to be towed behind this particular plane, but I've used the banner die nonetheless because I think it's a really nice shape. Glue that on. I'm going to use dimensionals on my plane. I'll show you where my mini ones were. Never mind. Just cut another one in half. I always use a lot of dimensionals because I hate the idea of something going through the post and getting squashed by the machinery as it goes through the rollers. So that's that so far, and then I think I've got to add one of these to it. So I'm going to pop that there. Got some glue dots here, so I'm just going to press my trinket onto a glue dot, peel it off, and the glue dot is attached, and then that will hold it in place nicely for me. And then I just need the insert stamping. So I've got the small plain image, which I'm going to stamp in the corner. I've got the happy birthday, so these images are all from the Adventurous Sky stamp set that I showed you. And that was basic grey ink. I'm going to change to smoky slate now and add some clouds. This is such a nice cloud image. There we are. And pop that inside. There we are. So that is a pretty quick and easy card. I know I've done my stamping and die cutting first, but it's a fun one to do. And let me show you a couple more. So this one uses die cut pieces. So these are the pieces I showed you that don't cut out a stamped image, but they create a cut out plane. So I've used basic grey for the wings, and then that paper with the riveted metal plates for the body and for the propeller. And there's quite a lot of kind of pierced detailing on both those pieces, which is really nice. And then I've used the cloud paper as a background. So this one again, I've used similar die cut pieces. I've made a bigger card. These are two of the cut apart elements, the tags that are on there with one of the metal embellishments. I've used the check paper on here, and then my background here, I've actually used heat embossing, a technique called emboss resist. I started out with white card. I stamped the clouds on there and embossed them using clear embossing powder, and then I brushed smoky slate ink over the top of everything. And the embossing powder protects the white paper from the ink, so anything that's under the embossing powder stays the colour of the card, which is white. Everything that is not covered by embossing powder goes the colour of the ink. So I've got a grey sky with white clouds. That's how I created that. So there we are, 3 clouds using the Take to the Sky suite. I really like this. As I say, I'm not a huge plane lover or anything like that. I certainly know nothing at all about airplanes, but I just think it's a really nice set, and there's so much again that you can do with it. Now that is everything that I had to show you today. So I'm just going to move the camera back up and say a fond farewell. I hope you've enjoyed the highlights I've found you in the catalogue. I hope that maybe it makes a little bit more sense where things are to you now and how it's organised. There's certainly a lot of things in there that I really like, and I hope you did too. Belinda's saying that she really likes the stamp set now. I'm glad to hear it, Belinda, thank you. It's a really nice one. It's just so versatile, particularly if you've got the paper and the dies as well. I think the 3 things work together fantastically well. So I hope I've inspired you with that. Well, it looks like it could be a nice weekend. We've had a weather warning here for thunderstorms on Sunday afternoon, and whether or not the forecast is accurate for next week, who knows, but it looks like it's going to rain again. However, this weekend looks really nice. So whatever you're doing, I hope you have a chance to spend some time outside in the lovely sunshine, and I will be back here at the end of the month on the 24th of May, where I'll be looking at the layers of beauty, masks, stamps and dies. So thank you so much for joining me. Have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.